What's up guys, it's Josh back with another video, and today I wanted to look at Artix Linux. So, as I stated in the intro of the video, I want to do a distro review of Artix Linux. This is my first time actually looking at this distribution. It's a super cool distribution from what I'm seeing. It's Arch based, which is always cool, so therefore it's a rolling release, similar to Manjaro. And anything Arch, I'm actually down to actually look at, so I want to check this one out, definitely. So let's hop right over to the website so we can check out a little of the information about it. Okay, cool. So we're at the main website for Artix Linux, and it's artixlinux.org. That's the actual website. And as you can see, the title, it states the art of Linux, simple, fast, and systemd free. And that's one of the big differences between this distribution. It's systemd free. It actually uses a different init system. And I'll show you guys a little bit about it when we get into actually downloading our copy of Artix to install. Now right here it says Artix Linux is a rolling release distribution based on Arch Linux. It uses real init systems because PID1 must be simple, secure, and stable. As you can see right here on the recent news, it supports dinit, and it says it is now official. A new init system, dinit, has left testing and entered the weekly download section. Should you decide to try it out, please report your findings to our new forum board. So that's super cool. That came out with another init system from the last time I actually looked at their website. But I remember when I was going through and actually downloading it and playing around with it in the past, they used other initialization systems. So let's hop over to the wiki right fast. I wanted to open that up because this is where you get all the information for Artix Linux. And it's just like Arch, you know, they have the Arch wiki. This is the Artix wiki, and it has all the information about this system. So if you have issues with your system after you set it up, this is where you want to go to actually look for a solution, as well as make changes to the system to customize it to your liking. Now, if we look right here, it says this wiki should only contain articles pertinent to Artix, articles where the systemd specific instructions from Arch need to be modified for OpenRC, run it S6, suit 66, and others. And we click over here on the installation. This will walk you through the full installation right here. It has all the information you need to install it, as well as the configuration if you want to play around with that as well. And if we look on the left side as well, they have migration, custom ISOs, as well as installation of on ZFS, which is interesting. They have those details within the wiki as well. And one other cool thing about it, if we go down to Artix components, you can actually look at the repositories for it. And we'll look through this a little bit more once I actually get the system installed and up and running. But you can make changes to the repositories, and as you see, the names of the repositories are a little bit different. You got system, world, galaxy, you know, your lib32, extra, that's the Arch. They have Arch mirrors, as well as community and multi-lib. And if you look through here a little more, they do have other repositories that you can add as well, like the Omniverse. I know that's one that I've heard about. But like I said, the wiki is a great resource if you're looking at installing Artix and you need to find some information about the operating system in order to get it configured and up and running for you. Now let's go back to the main page right fast. I'm gonna show you guys how to download it. So if we scroll back up to the top, we hit download. That'll take us to the area where we can actually download a ISO image of Artix Linux so we can get it installed. And they have different mirrors up here at the top, but I wanted to show you the different ISO images. Now you have your base, you have Cinnamon, you also have the community, GTK, community QT, LXD, LXQT, Mate, Plasma, XFCE, which is what I'm going to install. I'm going to install XFCE. But as you can see, under each one of these ISO, they have a different initialization system. As you can see, OpenRC, run it S6, Suite 66, and they have one for each one of the different desktop environments. And the one I want to show you guys actually, well, the one I want to actually install is Runit. That's the one I'm gonna actually download and install in a virtual machine. I'm gonna cancel it because I already have the ISO downloaded, but I just wanted to show you guys where to get it. Runit is somewhat of the easiest, in my opinion, a NIT system to understand how to use, especially since I'm strictly a systems D guy. I've always used systems D on all my systems, and Runit to me was easy to kind of pick up. But anyway, as you can see, they update these things a decent amount of time. As you can see, this was released in July, so July 25th. That's a pretty old ISO, for the time. But if you want to download one more current, they do have a weekly ISO. You can go in here and actually get the one that's a little bit closer to the date that we're installing. And like I said, I already downloaded this one, so it doesn't matter for me. I'm not gonna run the update, so it doesn't matter at this point. I just kind of want to show you guys the desktop environment and everything about it and how to install it and a little bit of the configuration. But as you can see, you can get the Runit version. This is the weekly update, and this was actually updated on the 22nd, so this is a fairly recent ISO. And also, if you look within the weekly, they do have the init system ISO, so you can download that as well if you want to try it out. Now let's hop over to my virtual machine so we can get started with the install. Okay, cool. So I have Artix Linux booted up. This is how the desktop looks, and this is XFCE like I stated, but we can go through the install. But I wanted to show you guys a couple things that are on the desktop when you first boot up into the live ISO. As you can see, there are a couple PDFs, so you can click on Run It. That actually brings up a PDF on Run It. So you have a little information there, installation, programs, just basically a PDF where you can get information. Now, troubleshooting, you can also look at that. That's basically a troubleshooting document in case you need it during the install, as well as a configuration document that's on the desktop as well. So that's interesting for them to actually have on a live ISO. So I just wanted to show you guys that because I thought that was super cool. Now let's get to the install. All we have to do is click on the Calamaris link right here to install Artix, and it's very simple. If you watch me do installs, it's pretty much the same. Calamaris installer is used in a lot of distributions just to make the install a whole lot simpler. But you select your location. I'm gonna leave it there. Los Angeles is me, and then English, for the keyboard, as well as the default. We can hit next there. Now let's just set up the partitions. What I'm gonna do is swap to file, but you want to select your drive, which is, I have a virtual drive, 32 gigs of space. And also you want to verify that you have the right bootloader location. The master boot record will be on VDI, or VDA, I'm sorry. And let's hit next there. And now we just type out our name. So I'm gonna just put Josh, boom. I'm gonna name the computer Artix, so that's the host name for this system, and then type in a password. All right, fast, type it in twice, boom. And then log in automatically, no. I always select that, or turn that off, where it doesn't log in automatically, and that's out of habit because I don't like to do that on any of my systems. I want it to have pop up where I have to type in the password, to actually get into the system. Now let's hit next there. And this is the summary, so we could just hit install, and as you can see, it'll create a partition table of MS-DOS, creates the partition, flag it as boot, and then install Artix on a new ext4 system partition, and then install bootloader on dev VDA. And so we can press install, and it'll go through and install it, and I'll be back when it actually installs. And we can go through and actually look at the system and see what it's all about. Okay, cool. So the installation is done. All we have to do is click here to restart now and hit done, and that will complete the installation. It'll reboot the system for us, and then once it's back up, we'll go through and look at the actual operating system, play around with it a little bit. So I'll be back when it's back up. Okay, cool. So we logged into it. This is the fresh install. As you can see, the desktop is a little bit different. Not all those links are there or those PDFs. But let's start off by looking at what's included with this operating system. I mean, you guys kind of understand how to use XFCE. If you watch my videos, I've kind of broken down, you know, all the panel icons, how to kind of use it. So I just wanted to go right into the applications that are installed on the system. So let's click on all applications. As you can see, it's a whole bunch of XFCE information. Actually, let's click on it and check out what is all installed with XFCE, as well as the version. So we can kind of look at it. But XFCE is a collection of programs put together. As you can see, it has a Windows Manager, XFWM4, so Window Manager, number 4, the panel, XFCE panel, Desktop Manager, Desktop Manager, Thunor for the File Manager, Volume Manager, Thunor Volume Manager, Sessions Manager by XFCE4. So it basically has the XFCE4, you know, desktop environment with pretty much everything on it. I thought it would have showed us the version, but that's the credits, the contributors to it, the copyright. So this is all XFCE4. Oh, there we go. And that's the version 4.16. So we have that version of XFCE4. And so let's go down and close that and go back to our applications. Or let's go to the categories. So you got your accessories, you got your bulk renamer. That's always good to see. Leaf pad, mouse pad. I really like mouse pad over leaf pad, but both of them are there, so you do have those options. Screenshotter, that's dope that's there. Sensor viewer, that's interesting. I haven't really looked at this before, but that kind of gives you some sensor information, so we can close that. I want to go through that right now, but back under accessories, what else we got? Thunor File Manager, XF Burner, that's cool to see. Sensor viewer, yeah, we just looked at that. Now under graphics, Rastreto image viewer, and I've used that in the past. It's dope. You know, a dope image viewer for your system. You know, it kind of organizes everything. I think I did a video on it a while back. I'm not 100% sure, but that's good to actually see there. But it would have been cool to see GIMP installed. That should be like a default application, I think, on all distributions, to have GIMP installed when you install a system. But you could easily install it from the terminal if you want to, using the pacman command. Now we can go to internet. Let's see what browser is actually on here. Doesn't look like it's about, well, what is this? Not 100% sure. So about web. So this is just basically web. I remember looking at this. So WebKit GTK, powered by, you know, WebKit GTK. But that's, you know, interesting. I mean, that's all you really need. I would like to see, you know, Firefox installed by default, but that's, you know, that's good enough right there. That'll work for you. That'll get you on the internet. You know what I'm saying? So we get to go with that. Now under multimedia, so oh, that's cool. MPV media player, that's good. That's there. Parole media player, that's good. Pulse audio, QTV4L2. So that's good. Video capture utility and XF burner. We just looked at that. Now under Office, would have been cool to see LibreOffice. It's kind of scaled down, you know, version of the system, or scaled down desktop. It doesn't have much software on it. That's kind of why I wanted to hit it first, because it's not really much to see other than, but I would have liked to see LibreOffice, you know, installed. But there's a benefit, you know, for not having all those applications on here, because they take a while to download and install. And you may not even want that, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of cool to have distributions not install a lot of applications. That way you can install what you actually want on the system. But a trail document viewer, you got your dictionary, and then under settings, this is all your, you know, normal settings for XFCE. You know what I'm saying? You can go through and check that out if you want to. Just wanted to kind of show you that it's there. But you know, the main settings manager, that's there. And then under systems or system, you got, you know, certain tools are repeated, but task manager, so you can open that up, you know, check that out. Basically xtop or htop in an actual graphical application. That's basically what that is, htop. That's to me what I related to, you know. And then XFCE terminal, and let's just see how many updates we will have on this system. So we can run sudo pacman and then -syu and press enter, and let's type in our sudo password, which that account that we created is a sudo account. You know, it was added to that actual group when we installed the operating system. But as you can see, that's our repository. So by default it comes with system, world, and galaxy. Now I don't want to go through this install because I'm sure it's a lot of packages. Yeah, as you can see, it's a whole bunch of packages, about 3 gigs worth of packages to update this system. Like I said, this was our older ISO, so it's about 402 packages if we look at it right. And I might let it run in the background just to have this operating system for something in the future if I want to do another review of a particular application. So I just go down and run it, and you guys, I'll just minimize it, put it in the background. But I just wanted to kind of check out the settings. So as you can see, you know, your appearance, this is how you change your appearance. You can go through, it comes with a couple styles in it, icons, you got your different icons right there. And if you guys didn't know, I'll do a video or extensive video showing people how to actually change up the appearance of your desktop environment, you know, by adding different themes and all that stuff to the actual system, different fonts, you know, all that good stuff. And actually I did not mean to close that, but let's go back there to the settings manager and check out what else we have there. So we got a clipboard manager, you know, that's good to see. Desktop, you could change up the desktop, you know, change up the wallpapers and different things like that, as well as menus, icon settings. So let's hit all settings, go back, file manager settings, notifications, panels, so we can modify the panels. So that's panel 1, which is, and as you can see, it's got that red line around the panel that's selected. And let's say we want to mess with the panel down here, and we can select it, and you can see, I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's a thin red line around whatever panel that you're working with. So let's go back, we're not going to play around with that, but screensaver, you can go in and modify that as well. Boom. And then your text editor settings, window manager, XFCE terminal settings, so you can make changes there, or you can just open up the terminal and make the changes in here as well, you know, under preferences. But let's close that. And then color profiles, display. So if we need to modify the display settings, you can go in there if you need to. Keyboard settings, mouse, touchpad, power manager, removable drive and media, accessibility, default application, so you can modify that. Default web browser, if you want to, you know, change that up. Let's say you install Firefox or something on here, then you select that. And then if you want to put like Thunderbird or something, you select your mail reader, and that's, you know, pretty much all your default applications, and that'll work with what's down here on the actual panel. So whenever you click on the web browser application, it'll open up whatever you select there, and it's Epiphany web browser, I forgot that. So yeah, that's the default, that's what's there. We can close that out though. And right here you can modify the session and store it up, and then settings editor if you want to go around and mess around with this. I recommend you know exactly what you're doing when you go around here messing around with the actual desktop, you know, Thunor, you know, certain things in here you can kind of mess up certain things if you don't know what you're doing. So I always recommend you really know what you're doing in order to modify the settings of the desktop environment. Now let's check out, let me see what's installed as far as in the terminal. Let's go, let's see if NeoFetch is here, which I don't know. Yeah, it is. So NeoFetch is there. That's super cool that that's actually in there, and we can add that to our bash RC, and that way it'll run every time we open up the terminal. So that's super cool that that's there. Now I know the pacman command is still running in the background. I got two terminals open, so let's actually open them all up. And it looks like our updates are done on the system, so we can actually play around with what I was going to show you guys. I'm going to show you guys how to add another repository or repo, and mainly what I wanted to kind of show you guys was what was there, and you can add the other repos to the operating system. So you can install, let's say, like lib32, but all you have to do is go into the pacman.conf, the config file, and it's under etc. So let's run sudo nano and then etc and then pacman, and I'm gonna tab it out .conf, press enter. And what you always want to do, or what I'd like to do whenever you mess around with configuration files, I always make backups of these files. I'm not going to make any changes to it. I just kind of want to show you guys what's there. But if we scroll down, you'll see the repositories that we have open already by default, because they're basically uncommented out. So you got your system and you got your world that's already commented out. They do have a Galaxy Gremlins, that's a different repository as well. You can open that up, as well as the Gremlins repository. Now if you want to run some 32-bit applications, they do have lib32 Gremlins and lib32, and then also you can add custom repositories, and what I recommend you do is add them at the bottom. So let's say you want to add the Arch repository to it, which is something that I've heard people like to do when installing Artix, is add that Arch repository. That way you can install things directly from there if it's not included in the Artix repositories. So basically all you have to do is modify this and add another line, and let's go back over to the website so you guys can see the format. And I kind of showed it to you guys already, but I just kind of want to show you the format again. But let's go back to the website. There we go. So I already have it up, but this is the repositories, or this is the format. So as you can see, we already had the system, world, galaxy, but let's say you want to add that Arch repository. So basically all you got to do is you can just copy this, and you can copy the whole thing. Let's say you want to copy all the Arch repositories. So you got your extra, community, and multi-lib. You can add those repositories just by copying them and then drop them in that pacman.config. Now they do have some universe repositories, and it says these repositories are maintained by Artix package maintainers and contain some programs which are not provided in the 4 repositories, mostly programs from the AUR like web browsers, Firefox, ES, or libwolf, the ungoogled Chromium, Brave, Tor browser. So maybe interesting to look into these repositories as well. And then there is a testing repository, which I don't want you to really check out, but that's the Gremlin repositories. And then they do have a staging repository. It says it's for backend developer use only, so only add them if you really know what you're doing and you know how to troubleshoot the system to get it back to the state that you want it. But they also have what they call the Omniverse, and it says this is another unofficial repository maintained by the Artix team members. It contains packages from the AUR or community. Some are potentially offending, i.e. non-free licenses. Some included packages or like LibreOffice-Steel, Firefox, FileZilla, Audacious, and this one I don't know what that is, Timeshift, Display Link, AutoKey, Tmux, and Terminator. So this may be a repository you want to add as well. Just check it out, just read more about it, and install what you think you need for your system to get whatever applications that you want to install on your version of Artix. So that's pretty much all I want to show you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Check out Artix. It's an interesting operating system. Like I said, it's system D free, which I know a lot of people will be happy about. And of course, you know, it's Arch based. So I know a lot of people like Arch and they look for easy ways to actually install Arch. Well, this is an easy way to actually install it, you know, using a different maintained distribution called Artix. And as you can tell by the wiki, it has a boatload of information on how to actually use the operating system. So make sure you check that out if you have any questions. But of course, you can leave questions down in the comments of this video, and I'll try to help you as best I can or point you in the right direction. I definitely appreciate it. But please like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you're new here. I'm always putting up Linux content as well as content helping people get into the IT field. And if you want to support the channel, I do have various ways for you to do that. Everything that's sent in is considered a donation. It goes right back into the channel for me to maintain everything that I have in order to record these videos and produce great content for you guys. Now, I hope you guys have a wonderful holiday, and of course, keep it techie.